In this video, I'm going to give you 4 key and arguably unconventional habits that made me a pro men's physique athlete, and you can implement these habits literally from today. If you're new here, my name is Reese Kiffin. I'm a natural men's physique pro and physique coach. I've been coaching and competing in bodybuilding for the last 7 years, and I want to show you how I've had success on my journey and how I've helped hundreds of other guys do the same thing. Now, as a quick disclaimer, I've been training for just over 10 years and I've been competing for about 6.5 years, and only now am I officially a pro. For most of us, turning pro will not happen in your first season, but if you implement these 4 habits that I'm going to run you through today, you will speed up your journey to turning pro or just achieving a physique that you once thought was impossible. So let's get into it. Habit number 1 that allowed me to achieve a pro level physique was consistently eating quality nutrition. Now, I know this sounds boring, but hear me out. In prep, not once did I not eat a meal full of nutrient-dense whole foods. And even in my 18-month off-season, I was eating pretty much 95% clean foods with a little bit of flexibility added in. Now these days, I see a lot of people eating what I like to call slop, which can be foods like cream of rice, blended oats, mass gainer shakes, and anything really that falls into that bracket. Now, what you have to think about is that on a fundamental level, as humans, we need real foods. Foods that we have to chew, digest properly, and that are full of nutrients. So if you can just eat 5 to 6 meals per day of mostly nutrient-dense, quality whole foods, mostly, then it's going to do your physique a world of favours. But this goes for your building phases as well as your diet phases. Now, I know nutrition has progressed a lot since Ronnie Coleman's reign, but did you ever see him eating foods like cream of rice, whey paste, or any of that bollocks? Probably not. I know that I've not seen that, and I don't think we ever will, because real food works. So clean up your food, fix your gut, allow your body to absorb the nutrients from the food you're actually consuming, and you'll notice a lot more progress. And the last thing on this point is that clean food doesn't necessarily mean plain and boring food. You can still season your food, you can still mix up your nutrition, you can still use different seasonings and sauces and condiments. Make it taste good, but just keep it clean for the most part. Habit number 2 that allowed me to achieve a pro level physique was getting a minimum of 7.5 hours of sleep every single night. Yes, you can function on less sleep, but your body won't like it and it will show. I know that I typically feel and perform my best with about 8 hours of sleep. You might be different, but chances are you're going to require at least 7 hours of sleep every night to actually feel good, perform well, recover properly, and ultimately look the way you want to look. During sleep, your body goes through all of its regenerative and recovery processes. Deep quality sleep for the right duration will help to improve the production of the anabolic processes that occur during sleep, the secretion of growth hormone and testosterone. But if you have a lack of sleep, or even if you're sleep deprived, this will dramatically increase the catabolic hormone production, which is essentially cortisol. High cortisol essentially means that your body is just more stressed than it needs to be, and this will contribute to muscle protein breakdown, which is not what we need during a bodybuilding prep. So put it this way, if you sleep better, you're going to have higher testosterone levels and lower stress levels. Sleep is your number 1 recovery and productivity tool, both mentally and physically. So if you want to look better and you want to feel better and ultimately grow more muscle, then you should probably sleep for a little bit longer. Habit number 3 that allowed me to achieve a pro level physique is just being a chill guy. Now, I know this sounds a bit like a joke, but I think it's actually true, and it sort of links back to the previous point with sleep and just being able to control your stress levels and things like that. Now, I know in life shit happens. Shit can happen to your finances, to your family, to yourself, to your health, etc. So all of this stuff obviously is going to add a layer of stress to you and your body, and these things are obviously quite hard to control, but hopefully what I go through in just a second makes sense, and hopefully it's something that you can adopt. Now look, I'm pretty busy, I work a lot, I work pretty much every day, I've got a lot on my plate, and I have done this for, a period of years now. But that doesn't mean that you cannot find the time to just chill out, take an hour for yourself every day, and essentially just get back in control of your stress levels again. But I also believe that when it comes to managing your stress, it comes down to a level of experience, firstly, but also a level of maturity to know what you need to do to deal with the stress that you are experiencing. So as an example, for me in stressful situations, I just try not to let it get the better of me. I control what I can control, and I try and stay in control of my mind. And then, as I said, I'll try and do something that helps me to deal with that level of stress. So as an example, if I'm struggling one day and I can feel that level of stress and anxiety getting on top of me, I know there's a few things that I like to do to help me deal with that. That could be just meditating for a few minutes. It could be having a warm bath. It could be going for a nice chilled walk. It could be simply putting some music on, listening to some jazz music. I know that one of those 4 options basically helps me to deal with any stress or anxiety that I might experience. So that's what you have to start being aware of as well with yourself, is when you're experiencing these emotions, how are you controlling that or managing that? I think the simple answer is just taking yourself away from that stressful environment, doing one of those 4 things that I just mentioned, then coming back to the stressful situation in a better state of mind. Again, I know this is easy to say in theory, but if you do just try and practice it, you'll probably realise it does actually help in real life too. So yeah, being able to stay a bit more relaxed will help to control your cortisol levels, and this will improve not only your mentality, but also your gains as well. And the final habit number 4 that helped me to achieve a pro level physique, is turning pain into a privilege. This is going to get deep quickly, so strap in. There's people in this world that are dying of malnourishment, and there's people in this world that still have to walk miles and miles to get barely clean water. And you're privileged enough to be able to choose to have this type of pain. Well, I hope you don't choose to drink dirty water, but you know what I mean. Because bodybuilding, after all, is a choice. We choose to batter our bodies every day in the gym. We choose to do the steps, the cardio, eat in a certain way, and essentially starve ourselves. But we don't have to do this. We are choosing to do this. So turn the table and try to start appreciating the pain that you've chosen to put yourself through. And something I always say to my guys is, endure the pain and start to enjoy the pain. Psychopathic, I know. But typically when things start to get painful or challenging, that's usually the bit you have to push through to then see the results that you're looking for. So as long as you're able to endure the pain, you will then probably start to see the results that you're really, really looking for. Now the pain's obviously going to be different from person to person. For you, it might be having to do your meal prep on a Sunday when you can't be asked. It might be the fact you have to go and do your 4th 45-minute cardio session of the week. It could be that you have to train at the end of a low carb day. It's painful, it's hard, but it's also a choice. Remind yourself of that and turn that pain into a privilege. So yeah, those are the 4 main habits that helped me to turn pro in 2025, and hopefully it helps you in some way, shape or form on your journey. Now obviously we have to consider training, nutrition and all the other things that contribute to the level of physique that you're going to achieve, but everyone talks about those things. So I've tried to take a different angle today and hopefully give you an insight on some other things that are going to be very useful to you achieving your best physique. The last thing I want to leave you on is that it's not about the next fancy exercise or fancy diet trick. It's not about any of that bullshit. All you have to do to achieve your best ever physique is simply just stay focused on the basics. Stay focused on the fundamentals that have always gotten people results. And obviously people don't like to hear it because it ain't sexy and it takes time, but it works. And remember, this is coming from someone who's been training for over 10 years, and I've literally helped hundreds of guys within my coaching platform across the years to achieve world-class physiques. On that note, if you're looking to build your physique and your knowledge base, consider heading to the description and downloading my free 8-week build program. It's essentially a free training program with 8 coaching videos embedded into the program. So each week you've got a new video to watch and new learnings to implement. So go download that. It's free, and it's probably the best free resource that you can download to help you build muscle. In the meantime, subscribe somewhere and watch the next video. Peace.